Hello, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. It is a beautiful day. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we are rejoicing and we are glad in it on today. If you're not, stop whatever you're doing, reset your focus and reset your thoughts, and declare that this day is a great day. And it's a great day simply because you've declared it.
Amen.
Today we're having a very special lunch and learn episode, and we'll be having these lunch and learn episodes moving forward every Tuesday from 12 noon to 1, and every Thursday, 12 noon to 1. Miss Adina Collins is going to be our special guest, our co-host for these lunch and learns. And I highly recommend that you mark that time down on your calendar. Why is that? Because Adina is bringing a level of financial expertise to this lunch and learns that you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss this, whether you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, mompreneur, dadpreneur, whatever you're doing in your business life. You don't want to miss these lunch and learn opportunities because I guarantee you will find things out that will help you to scale and grow your business from a financial aspect, a tax aspect, that you can't get it anywhere else, and you won't get this level of information for free. Today she's going to be talking to us about what everybody is talking about right now. For the last several weeks, everyone has been talking about all of the different financial resources that are available to us that our federal government has put in place to help small businesses. And there's a lot of information out there that's correct, and there's a lot of information out there that is incorrect. And Miss Adina has agreed to come on and share with us information that is correct and how we can set ourselves up for success by having the necessary documents ready and getting through the application process properly to ensure your likelihood of qualifying for the monies that are out there. And if you're saying, okay, I've heard about these monies, but I don't know what to do or how to go about it, that's okay. Because if you're tuning in today, you will leave today being empowered with knowledge that will help you know what to do, when to do, and how to do it. So, Ms. Dina, how has your day been today?
It's been a little hectic, but I am so glad to be here. So glad to be sharing my lunch with y'all and sharing our time together. And I definitely look forward to today as well as for our future. So we are super excited and so grateful to be here. So
Wonderful. Thank you again. Thank you again. Ms. Dina, if you could, the monies that are there, can you
mhm.
talk to us about, like, overall, what is it called? What are the programs called?
Sure. Well, the CARES Act, which was the act that was passed on March 18th by Congress and was approved by President Trump, consists of four different types of funding. The first was the economic stimulus checks, which would be going out directly to individuals, qualified individuals. The second component was actually an expansion of the unemployment benefits. And so the feds were literally going to be able to help to fund some of the unemployment through the states. And so that was that was the second component of the act. The third component was, of course, the SBA loan programs, which would be available to small businesses, to nonprofits, co-ops, um, self-employed people, independent contractors. So that was, another component of it. And then there was a separate component, which was specifically for people that were paying payroll taxes. So if you were paying Medicare or Social Security tax on behalf of employees, W-2 employees that you have. So it was those four things that actually made up the CARE Act. And so they really chose to go ahead and bundle everything together because we know that overall, there's all types of employment, of course, that's available, regular W-2 as well as 1099, and of course, business employment. So really Congress was trying to make sure that just about every sector of society was really covered. And so that's why they ended up bundling it all into the CARES Act. And so there were just different pieces I know that we were going to probably talk about today. But yes, it is one big bundle of monies. Overall, the entire act helps to fund 2 trillion with a T, trillion with a T. So I know some of us can't count that far. I know I'm trying. Okay, how many zeros was that again? Okay, so but anyway, it is a huge thing, and it is going to be available to quite a few Americans. And so that is definitely encouraging because, of course, everyone has been impacted by the effects of coronavirus, whether it's been from a medical standpoint or certainly from a financial and business standpoint. So,
and you're so right. Everyone, this is a global issue, and I'm extremely excited that the CARES Act is in place, and that so many entities across the country, so many individuals such as yourself, as well as different type of financial entities, are coming together to try to educate people on, look, here's the money. This is how you get it. Because at the end of the day, we've got to come together, big business, small business, medium business, everyone, and be able to access these monies so that we can continue to keep our doors to our businesses open, our solopreneurs, mompreneurs, small businesses, especially because small business is the backbone of this country. So
that's right.
we've got to be able to access these resources so we can keep our doors open, so that we can keep our economy going. And so we are thankful for that. But most importantly, knowing that it's out there and then knowing how to access it is two different animals. And again, thank you so much for coming on and being able to provide the knowledge that you have with our viewing audience, and myself included, because I'm included in that. I'm a small business owner. And so I need to know what we qualify for, and how to properly access what we qualify for. So I guess my first question for you today is, what 3 things can I do, or the business owner do right now, to maintain my business during this shelter in place? So whether it's and I more so like for the brick and mortar buildings, and I guess even for for those who are running their business online, what are the things that we can do right now to keep the doors of our businesses open?
Well, first of all, let's get focused. I know that this entire situation threw everyone off. We were not expecting all of this to happen. It was one thing for people to get sick. It was another thing for seemingly the whole world and our economy to come to a near standstill. So here's the thing. We've now had over 2 weeks to kind of adjust to how things currently are. How things currently are not the way that things are going to remain. So what I need you to do is get your head back into the game, get focused. Here's the thing. Yes, although your business may have been directly impacted, here's the thing. There are still people that want your services. And so now is the time to be able to get as creative as you can. And so we're going to talk in a little bit more detail in a minute in reference to some things that maybe you may want to consider. So getting focused is number 1. Number 2 is, what things are you bringing to the market that still provide value? And what do I mean by that? If you are shy of social media, please move past your shyness. We need you to be as active as you can on social media, because the truth of the matter is that business is now being conducted on so many levels on the internet. And the thing is that if people don't know you exist, then you can't remain in business. Right. If you are not making sure that you are letting people know that, hey, I am beginning to go ahead and offer these particular services online. I'm letting you know that if you are brick and mortar, such as, maybe you're a restaurant or something like that, letting people know, hey, you can still come in, you can take out, or perhaps we can do curbside service for you, or maybe we can deliver to you, still be able to let you know we're still here. And so the thing is that social media is not just a place for you to be able to play. It's also a strategic place for you to be able to do business. And so what you want to do is you want to let people know, I'm still here. I'm still available. These are the service times that I'm still here. This is what we can provide. And the last thing is that you want to make sure that you in some way are making sure that you are getting and staying visible. So what do I mean by that? Perhaps you're not necessarily that comfortable with doing videos. You can record as many videos as you like instead of having to necessarily go Facebook Live. You can do some short little videos. It could be something funny, something inspiring, something uplifting, something in reference to the services that you provide, perhaps even featuring, if you feel more comfortable, if you do have employees, if you have an employee that definitely just shines in front of the camera, put them out, make them your new voice for your business. And so you can do a variety of things. You can do a webinar. You could perhaps, again, be able to put out some recorded information. Perhaps you can put out some different types of posts. Maybe someone that you know has a podcast, like Laquita. Perhaps she may be willing to put you on the podcast so people can know, hey, I offer these particular specialty services. And please don't think that just because, again, seemingly that the economy's come to a halt doesn't mean that people have stopped buying. Ask Amazon. Ask the grocery store. Ask other people who are still buying other types of trinkets, T-shirts, mugs, anything and everything that you can think of, because they want still to feel normal, if you will, to still feel like that they can still get the things that they enjoy and get the things that they like.
Absolutely. Even last night, Vic and I were discussing on our regular Create Your Future Self, and he's a mobile notary and does closing here in the state of Texas, and people are still buying properties, guys. There are some things that are taking place right now, obviously, that have slowed our economy down. They've made it a little bit more difficult, but I'll share with you guys now, as I did on last night. I was taking a course this weekend, and the guy that taught the course, he blew my mind with his opening statement when he said that, don't think outside of the box, think like there is no box. And in order for our doors to stay open, no matter what size business you are right now, we've got to be thinking like there is no box. And even I've been quoting that quote from Bishop Bronner all week since I heard you say it, Adina. This is the time to maximize every opportunity. We got to recognize that opportunity, and we can't let these opportunities pass us by, or the doors of our businesses will close. So we've got to think outside of the box. Think like there is no box, in order for, no matter what size business you are, in order to remain open. There is a way. There is a way to get it done.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. With that being said, I know that if you could, for a minute, just tell our viewers, those that aren't familiar with you, that this may be your first time seeing you, give us a little background information about who you are and why you are an expert in this area.
Sure. Again, my name is Adina Collins. I am the CEO of Fortitude Financial Consulting. And so I provide I provide virtual CFO services, so I can help you in reference to making sure that your books are right, making sure that you're adhering to your own budget, and just really developing financial strategy to make sure that you remain profitable and that you take advantage of the right types of opportunities for your business to be able to expand. The other thing that I do is that I do tax planning services. So I work with you year round to ensure that we're identifying every type of tax credit and eligible deduction that you as an individual or a business owner can take advantage of, so you don't overpay in taxes, whether it's federal or state. And then thirdly, I am a financial and a business coach. So I can assist you in reference to making sure that you are getting your personal finances back on track, and also being able to help you to identify what types of things can I be doing as a business owner that will not only help me to be able to grow, but also to help me to remain focused, to be able to help me remain on track. And so with I myself am a small business owner as well. And so it's extremely important to me because, as Laquita already mentioned earlier, really the U.S. economy is made up of at least 80% of small businesses. Mm-hmm. So the quicker we get back into business, the quicker we are able to make the necessary adjustments, the quicker the money is circulating, and we need the money to be able to circulate so the economy can continue to rebound, and for us to be able to ensure that our businesses can thrive and survive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. Ms. Adina is sharing so much information. And today we're talking about the CARES Act and what makes up the CARES Act and how we can benefit from the CARES Act. We know the CARES Act is money, and I'm entitled to money, but there's a whole lot that goes on in between there. And Mr. Dina is breaking that down for us, because we have many viewers that are watching that are coming from different sectors, and we want everyone to leave this broadcast understanding exactly where they fit in the CARES Act and how they can maximize that and access the funds that are available to them. And so with that being said, my second question, I can't talk right now. Wow. My second question is, what does business pivoting mean? And why is it important to my business or to my industry that I understand what that means?
Well, a business pivot is literally what you can consider almost, if you've ever played basketball, you know that sometimes the guys and the girls who are playing basketball, they don't always stand flat-footed. They may have one particular foot that may be angled up a little bit. And so
Mm-hmm.
literally that helps them to be able to swivel, to be able to turn as they need to. So
Mm-hmm.
literally a business pivot is allowing yourself to be able to do a slight turn to be able to still serve people. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily mean that you completely break down your business and start doing, focusing on 10 new things. It just may mean that you can take one particular thing, one or two different things about how your current business operates, and be able to determine what is something that I can add, so something that I can enhance,
Mm-hmm.
something that would be of value to people right now.
Yeah.
And so why is that important? Because here's the thing, if you are still very rigid, if you do not want to change, you will go under.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I just have to say it very bluntly. If you are unwilling to be able to observe, to be able to look and say, you know what, I see that this could be a potential opportunity that someone else is overlooking. Let me give you an example. Laquita and I ended up speaking about this the other day. If anybody's paying attention to social media, one industry that I know is definitely taking very full advantage of it is the restaurant and hospitality industry. So you may have seen some of your more traditional brick and mortar restaurants that have decided, hey, listen, they already know that they have all of this food that is in storage. They have deep freezers, of course, like some of us at home, but
Mm-hmm.
they know that they have to be able to move some of the produce that they have. They have
Mm-hmm.
to be able to move some of the other supplies, some of the other meat, things like that. And so I know in particular, one of the restaurants that I have gone to out here in Metro Dallas, they have decided to do kind of like a COVID-19 survival kit, if you will. So what they decided to do is they decided to offer in one of their packages 4 steaks. They were going to do some vegetables. They were going to make sure that you had 2 rolls of toilet paper. You know, you may even get a roll of paper towels. And so the thing is that they are literally pivoting. And so in some cases, they are allowing customers to be able to come directly to the restaurant. They're making them prepay
Mm-hmm.
and make them to come to the restaurant so they know that they're getting the cash immediately. But the customers are walking away also with a great meal that they've enjoyed, plus some needed supplies.
Yes.
So, you know, here's the thing. They are not using the rolls of toilet paper, and they're not using as much paper towels as they would have if they would have had a full restaurant. So why not make sure that my customers are not only satisfied by the good food and the service that we offer, but then I'm also helping their household out. So you have to be able to just think a little bit differently. There's got to be something else that I may be overlooking, something else that I may be missing. And that one thing could be the key to you being able to create steady income, steady stream. Perhaps there may be somebody that you've overlooked in reference to a partnership. You know, here's the thing. We do not have to be lone rangers.
No.
The better that you are able to be able to work with other people, and those people are able to champion you and champion your services, the quicker that you're going to have a turnaround in reference to your revenues. And so that's one of the reasons why, you know, Laquita and I thought that we could come together to be able to partner, because we are definitely passionate about entrepreneurial. We're passionate about educating. We're passionate about being able to showcase, you know, people that are knowledgeable, people that would be able to help one another, so that we can be, you know, our best selves, and that we can continue to do what we love best, which is to be able to serve people, but through business.
Absolutely. You know, that business pivoting, that's so vitally important right now. You know, this is a time, and again, you may be saying, well, LaQuita and Adina, what does that have to do with me accessing this money? It has a great deal of to do with you accessing this money, because whatever monies that you're going to apply for and whatever monies you're going to receive, you have to use those monies in a specific way. In a very specific way. It's not just get the money and do what I want to with it. You have to use it in a very specific way. And so, when we know that we're all going to get it and we're all going to do with it specifically what we're supposed to, but that does not mean that that money will cover all of your cash flow problems. So being able to pivot will help increase your cash flow because it will continue to generate revenue. And if you're not willing to pivot and then you're unwilling to come up with those ideas to help keep that revenue coming through, the monies you're going to receive won't be able to benefit you as much as they would if you weren't helping it and assisting it along the way. So we have to be able to do that. I know I love Fuddruckers. And the fact that I can go to Fuddruckers and pick up some burgers and then come home and cook them myself is great. You know, my daughter likes Texas Roadhouse, and it shit just delighted her to no end to go be able to pick up those rolls and a steak and cook it myself, you know. So you got to be, if the bigger businesses understand that, that's how they stay in business. We as smaller business, mompreneurs, dadpreneurs, solopreneurs, contractors, we've got to understand how to make a pivot, how to make a shift so that we can still be generating income during this time, because people still have needs for goods and services, and we have to be creative in our attempt to get those goods and services to our customers. My next question to you is, what are the economic stimulus? When are the economic stimulus checks coming, and am I eligible? Like, am I getting my check? I want my check.
We all want our checks. Trust. We all want our checks. Yes, please. So, as I mentioned to you before, part of the CARES Act was what you would call direct payments, and so those economic stimulus checks would be direct payments to eligible folks. And so, if you did apply, if you did actually file your tax returns for 2018, then literally you would be able to be eligible for these economic stimulus payments if you were a single person and you made 75,000 or below. You could get up to 1,200 as an individual. However, if you made more than that, but you made less than 99,000, you could still get some monies, but it wouldn't be the full 1,200. They would start to reduce your amounts based upon the dollars that exceed the 75,000. Now, if you're married and you're filing jointly together, then you would literally have a threshold of $150,000 combined income that you would have made for the year. And as a married couple, you could actually get 2,400 for your economic stimulus, as well as you can also get $500 per child that's 17 years or younger. So you could get an additional $500 per child. And so, you know, that is definitely of great benefit. Initially, the IRS mentioned that they think that the first economic stimulus checks should be going out as of April 17th. So that wouldn't be this coming Friday, but it should be going out the following Friday. Now, listen, they are not going to turn on the floodgates. Everybody's not going to get the monies on April 17th. Okay. But if you did file your taxes and say, for example, you did already have a refund that you would receive for that year, then you more than likely, most people would have gone ahead and done a direct deposit for their refund to be received. And so the IRS would have already had your banking information in the system. If it's not in the system, what you can do is you can actually go to irs.gov and you can go ahead, and there's a special section on there in reference to the coronavirus or COVID-19 relation is up to date. And if you choose to go ahead and provide your direct deposit information, you can do that. However, if you don't want people all up in your bank account and whatnot, you can get a paper check, but it may take you 5 months to be able to get your money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That minute.
Five, that minute.
Y'all go on irs.gov.
Please. and here's the thing. And even if you were not required to file, so for example, there may have been some Social Security recipients that, just were not required to file because of the income threshold. They just didn't have to do it. The good thing is that, of course, now it's my understanding, I don't even think that Social Security Administration even sends out paper checks anymore. I think they've made everybody do direct deposit.
My grandparents don't get a paper check. They get theirs direct deposited.
Perfect. Well, even they would be eligible, even if they weren't required to file.
You know,
So
go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, what I was going to say was, again, they were pretty much basing this off of, for the most part, off of your 2018 filed federal tax returns. Now, here's the thing. If you filed 2018, but you haven't filed 2019 yet, and say your income is above those thresholds, the income thresholds that I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen is you still may end up getting that stimulus check, but
Mm-hmm.
if you're falling outside of the range for
Mm-hmm.
2019,
They're gonna get
they're
that
going to take a look. Trust, they're going to get their money back. So what I'm recommending to people today, please, if you have not gone ahead and filed 2018 or 2019, please go ahead and file your taxes as soon as humanly possible. That is definitely something that I can assist you with. And I'm sure that there are other people, as well. But again, I'm just recommending that you go ahead and do it. And it's going to be extremely important. You'll see why in just a minute.
Yeah. A viewer here had the same question that I have. So I have adult children, that are learning to adults, while yet I'm still paying for their college tuition while they're learning. So yes, they are on my tax return. So for those individuals such as myself who do have children that are 17 and under, that are dependents on my tax return, but I do have children that are over the age of 17 and in college, and I'm paying their tuition. So where do we fall in so far as how will they calculate what we get back in the stimulus check for those children, or are those children even considered?
Honestly, they are not. However, the good thing is that if you are indeed paying for college expenses, the good thing
Mhm.
is that when you go to file your tax return, that you would definitely be able to help take an education credit on
Okay.
your tax return. So at least that would help. But just in reference to the way that the stimulus bill was generated, they're only giving the extra $500 payment just for kids that are 17 and below.
Okay. And so the second part to that question is, if those college age children, though you could carry them as a dependent, but
Mhm.
they did have, their part-time job or whatever, and they file their own separate tax, then what happens with those children in that instance?
It's my understanding they're going to probably go ahead and take a look at whether or not they could be claimed on your tax return. And
Okay.
so if they could be claimed, more than likely, they're probably not going to get individual stimulus checks.
Okay.
But of course, here's the thing. Just stay tuned, and I'll definitely continue to go ahead and stay tuned as well in reference to any changes. Just keep in mind that although the act was passed, I do believe in my heart of hearts that
Mhm.
there's going to be multiple stimulus bills that'll probably be coming through. So
Okay.
just because, it may not happen on this one, who's to say what's going to happen on the next one?
On the next one. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because it was, that's been a question that's been asked by myself and numerous people, because we do have kids, you do have a lot of young people around the country that's falling into that category. Mom and dad
Yeah.
are paying for college. And so, yes, mom and dad are carrying them on their tax return, but, they still have to live. So they're
Yes.
working themselves. And, how I would hate to say, see that those kids get left kind of
Yeah.
like, in the middle. Like you're not
Yeah.
quite, you're too old to get this, but you're not quite adult enough doing it on your own to get that. So,
Yeah.
preferably there is something that is able to be done for them. As this thing, again, like you said, is fluid, and as the situation continues to evolve and shift and change, that something will cover them along that way.
Right.
We have a viewer here that has a question. She says she read that people on Social Security and Social Security disability that are exempt from filing will have their stimulus refunded automatically deposited into their accounts.
That is correct. Yes, because of course that's why I was mentioning before that as far as I knew, I thought that all of the Social Security benefits were indeed direct deposited, and so they should. The recipients of Social Security and SSI should be able to get their economic stimulus checks directly deposited into their account because it's already on file. So yes, so you should be good to go.
Great. Now, with this side note from the stimulus. when we're talking about business owners and contractors and entrepreneurs in terms of what they qualify for from the CARES Act, can you talk to us a little bit about the guidelines on just general guidelines on what they're supposed to do with the monies once they're approved for them?
Sure. Well, in reference to there's a couple of different programs that are out there. There's the SBA loan program, and there's two different loans that we can talk about.
Okay.
But for the most part, this has got to be based upon your business. There's two programs that are out there. One that is really helping you to continue to fund payroll. And so, the majority of those funds really have to be used towards payroll expenses, towards being able to make sure that you are making either your rent or mortgage for the business, to make sure that you are covering utilities. Perhaps if you had increased supply costs, because of course we know that just about everything is going up. And so if you needed specific supplies from a supplier and they of course are tacking on more fees, even though we know gas prices have drastically dropped, but just because perhaps maybe their suppliers are now, everything's being passed down to you. You really have to be very, very cautious of the way that you do spend the funds. And so one of the things that I definitely recommend to business owners is, now that we have time to get focused, first of all, let's make sure that our books are in order. Let's make sure that if you have not been keeping up with your accounting books, especially for 2019 and the beginning of this year, let's take care of that now. Let's also make sure that we are timely filing our tax returns. I do understand that the regular tax deadline, filing deadline was pushed back to July 15th, but here's the thing. If you intend to apply for SBA loan funding, you are literally giving consent to the SBA for them to be able to review your personal and your business tax returns. So although it won't stop you from being able to get funding, the thing is that they're still going to hold the application potentially if it's not available within a certain period of time. And so it's really to your advantage to make sure that you go ahead and just get it done. If you need to, you can always file an amendment. Don't feel horrible if you feel like everything's not in place, everything's not together. Do the best you can. Get something filed, and they're not going to hold anything against you. If you may owe, just go ahead and get it in the system, and then that way you know that you're free to be able to apply, for other types of funding as well. And so you just want to make sure that you were well aware of that. And thankfully, I think that the bill was broad enough, which can help a variety of different types of business owners, from, as you mentioned, the solopreneurs, the independent contractors, the freelancers, people who do kind of what you would call gig type of jobs, whether you're driving for Uber or Lyft, or, perhaps maybe you're just kind of like the handy guy, and you're just kind of doing your own thing. You really are a freelancer. Then, that is perfect. You're a smaller business. Some different types of nonprofits also may qualify to be able to apply. Perhaps maybe you're a member of a co-op. You can definitely apply for that. So, it's not just for big businesses. It's just about for everybody, which is very heartening. Even the self-employed, you're just a self-employed person. It's probably just you, or perhaps you may have the support of one or two family members, that just kind of help you really on an as needed basis. There's funding available for everybody who's in business. And so that is definitely encouraging to me. I would be extremely upset if it was primarily for big businesses, but they really are trying to catch everyone.
Amen. That's a great thing. So, guys, thank you again for tuning in for this wonderful Lunch and Learn with Miss Adina Collins. And she's been sharing some valuable information on how we can keep our doors open during this time, the necessity of business pivoting. And she's been breaking down the different components of the CARES Act and how we can access the component that we qualify for. We have a viewer here that just tuned in, and they want to know, could you please explain to us again what the CARES Act is?
Sure. The CARES Act was an act that was drafted by Congress to be able to benefit regular citizens and business owners during, of course, this crisis due to coronavirus, due to COVID-19. And so this was really a way to be able to stimulate the economy for those of us who were around during 2008 and, the horrible the horrible economic times that we were having back then, and how the housing market just was upside down. Of course, the automobiles, everybody, was directly impacted. And so during that time, President Obama tried to do something to be able to stimulate the economy, to be able to get the money circulating again. And, it's just cyclical. Sometimes we have these economic cycles where things happen. Of course, there wasn't a illness component during that time. But again, in order for certain industries to be able to, which impacted so many other industries, to be able to stay in business, then this is what the CARES Act is literally doing. It's helping individuals. Of course, they realize so many people, unfortunately, have lost their regular jobs. And so with the direct cash payments that I had mentioned about the economic stimulus checks that would be coming to people, as well as being able to help individual states with the expansion of unemployment benefits. So that is being able to help individuals, as well as the different types of components that would be applicable to the business owners, such as payroll tax credits and also these SBA loans for disaster recovery. And so, this is literally all four of those things help to make up the entire CARES Act.
The CARES Act. So what is the difference between the economic injury disaster loan and the Paycheck Protection Program with the SBA? What are those two things, and who qualifies for them and who doesn't?
Okay. Well, in the economic injury disaster loan, I'm going to call it EIDL for short. That is one of the loans that is available under the CARES Act through the SBA, the Small Business Administration. And what's great is that if you happen to have great credit, if you happen to have good credit, then you can actually apply for this loan funding. It is a quick decision. Again, it is based upon credit only. And you can get approved by the SBA. This particular program is you can apply up to $2 million for that particular program. And, you can use it to be able to cover costs, to be able to help you to cover payroll, to be able to help you to be able to cover different other business expenses that you have to be able to, have in place for you to be able to continue on. And in reference to the Paycheck Protection Program, this program is a $10 billion program. You can apply for funding. It is not credit based. So you would have to make sure that you had certain things, as I mentioned to you previously, like making sure that you have your tax returns available, making sure that you do have your profit and loss statement available. The SBA is looking for your profit and loss. That could be for the last fiscal year or the last tax year. So if for right now you wanted to apply, but you don't have your tax returns done right now, they will take a year-end profit and loss statement, just pretty much confirming, hey, this is what we made in sales. These are what our business expenses were. They will take that for now, but they're still going to be looking for that filed tax return eventually. So you would have to go ahead and provide that to them. And so if you'll give me 1 second, I'm sorry, my computer just timed out for a second, but I wanted to make sure that I gave you a little more detail in reference to that. So I'm going to get back to the economic injury disaster loan, which is based on credit. So this particular loan is available to smaller businesses, to sole proprietors, to 1099 contractors, to the co-ops and certain nonprofits. The good thing is that you could even be a newer business and still qualify for this particular program. And again, it is credit based, but you would have required to be in business as of just January 31st of 2020. Wow. So you could have just launched your business and still be eligible for this particular program. Again, it is based upon your credit score only, but you do have to consent to allowing the SBA to be able to review your tax returns. It's not based upon the tax return. It's just a, part of your sign-offs, part of your consents. It's just that you're okay with them looking at it.
I think that is excellent that it it really reaches out to every business owner, because at the beginning of the year, when people are launching their businesses and excited about what 2020 is going to bring, and you
Yes.
know, the research and all the hard work that they put into it to prepare to launch it, nobody could have thought that this was going to happen.
No one.
And you know, those people lost a great deal, or are losing a great deal, because like they couldn't have been prepared for this. You
No
know,
one could have.
yeah,
Honestly, no one could have. I mean, not unless you were sitting on millions and millions in cash reserves, which, some of the bigger businesses, could have said that about themselves, but no one could have possibly planned for this. Um, I did mention that it is based upon credit score, but guess what, y'all? Even if you had a prior bankruptcy, it's not going to count against you.
awesome.
Which is wonderful. And this is actually a $10 billion program. So the economic injury disaster loan is a 10 billion with a B program. The loans can be up to 2 million.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, just depending upon what, the need was. And for-profit businesses, the interest rate is 3.75%. That's not bad. It could be, it could have been much, much higher. Some private loans could be, upwards of 10, percent. So this is a very good percentage. If you're a nonprofit and you qualify for it, it's 2.75% in interest, which is great. You have actually a 30-year repayment term. And also the good thing is that your initial payment could be deferred up to 12 months. So let's say that they decided to date your promissory note for this loan as of May 1st. You may not have to start your first payment until May 1st of 2021.
Okay.
Not that many places allow you to do it. If you think about it, even a car loan, you may get 45 days to be able to make that first loan payment. So I mean, the fact that you could potentially defer, up to 12 months for your first payment, that is a wonderful thing. One other thing that you want to be aware of is that if your loan is less than 200,000, you can still be approved without having a personal guarantee. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times in business, especially when you're borrowing, sometimes the lenders require you to say, well, listen, even if your business goes under, you're still guaranteeing with your personal funds that you would still make, this payment. And so, but they don't require you to do a personal guarantee.
That's excellent.
That is good. And so if your loan is actually, greater than, if it's greater than 25,000, what they're going to look for is they're not going to actually do anything in reference to any real estate that you own, but they would want to just have a general security interest in some of your business assets. And so if you think about it, business assets could include your business truck, your business car. It could be your computer equipment. It could be any other type of assets that you may hold within your business. And so that would be one thing that you want to keep in mind. You can apply for a $10,000 emergency grant within 3 days of you applying. And so, that particular emergency grant would be good through December 31st of the end of the year. So the good thing is that if you're granted that $10,000 emergency monies, and please don't thumb your nose, 10,000, that's not enough. It's good to be able to at least sustain you for a little while, until the next comes through. Right, exactly. And so you could potentially get that $10,000 grant advance, if you will, that can be forgiven. But you have to spend it on a combination of these things: either paid leave for your employees to be able to maintain your payroll. Again, I had mentioned about the increased supply costs. It's costing you more to be able to do your business, to be able to get from your other suppliers, and then also either mortgage or rent payments, that you have to make because of the revenue losses. So, that is a godsend, quite honestly, to be able to know that is available. And so all you would need to do is just go ahead and submit the application online through www.sba.gov, and you'll see some links in reference to disaster loans. And so that is just specifically for the economic injury disaster loan, so EIDL for short. That particular program is only credit based. So that is definitely a wonderful thing. So if you know that you have pretty decent credit, What's the cutoff? I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that the SBA loan program may end up using the same type of guidelines that some other banks may use when it comes down to borrowing for a mortgage. You know, you may
Mhm.
have different lenders that may be willing to go as low as 620 for a
Mhm.
credit score. They may do the same. I don't have any specifics yet in reference to whatever the minimum credit score is, but I
Okay.
would probably say that you would probably do okay if you at least had a credit score of 620 or higher. And so, of course, the higher, the better and the quicker, the approval would be
Mhm.
for that. And so, just keep that in mind. And again, even though they don't require your tax returns for that particular loan, they still are going to ask you to go ahead and consent. I did have a client last week that decided to go ahead and apply for that. And, the thing is that it probably had about maybe 5 total pages online that you could go ahead and complete. And again, they are literally, getting you to be able to check and say, yes, I consent for you to be able to get a copy of my IRS tax transcript. If you didn't have it at that particular time, you could go back and you can actually attach the complete tax return, once you're done. And so, or at a future date. And so I know that one thing I want y'all to keep in mind before we get into the next portion of this is just that the government is not super efficient, y'all. We know that they are great at passing laws, but when it comes down to being able to administer funds, it's a huge undertaking.
Mhm.
It's big. It is nationwide. And so what I'm asking you to do is get your documentation together, make sure that you do have information available and that you are definitely in line, but just know that they're going to have to add extra staff to some of these SBA centers anyway, and
Mhm.
that they may be actually opening newer sites to be able to help because of the overwhelming demand. So just know that it's going to take time for them to be able to ramp up. Yes, thank God a lot of things can be done online, but if you need to actually physically visit somebody, just know they're doing the best that they can. Yes, they're working with the staff that they do have, but then also too, I'm not sure what's going to happen, especially since so many places around the country do have shelter in place. So
Right.
I'm not sure what other type of accommodations. Maybe they may allow them to do Zoom calls, or maybe they may allow them to do other types of alternate types of things that'll still keep people healthy. But I just want you to be patient as
Patient.
you can, but
Yeah.
just make sure that you are doing everything that you can do to make sure that you are positioning yourself to be able to take advantage.
Awesome. Awesome. So patience is key. Patience is
Yes,
key. Having your documentation together prior to going through the application process will help you get through the process quicker. Uh,
yes,
and being patient. If it's something that you find that you've got to do in person, then you need to be able to figure out where to go, when to go, and how that's happening. Or if it's something that you're going to be able to completely do online, make sure you have everything together with you. I had a friend on again last week. Her name is Lisa Deer, and she was saying some of the same things. Making sure you have all of your documentation ready before you sit down in front of your computer to begin this process will help you, because if you have to pause, take a break, and come back to it, you put yourself further and further under the pile of people who have already gone before you and gotten this stuff done and taken care of. So have everything together. And if you don't understand, when you get on that website and you're reading it and you don't understand what all of the documents are, that's okay. It is
it's okay.
100% okay, because that's why we're doing shows like this, so that, look, everybody doesn't know what everything is. Even if you have great bookkeeping and accounting in place, if you're like me and you got somebody else to do that for you, I call them and ask them the question before the process goes. So if you said, okay, Laquita, I've been doing this kind of myself with QuickBooks, so I'm not real sure. I think I'm good, but I'm not sure. Reach out to Adina.
Absolutely,
Reach out to
absolutely.
Adina. Her contact information is going to be in the feed. We're going to let her share her contact information. If you don't reach out to Adina, reach out to someone who does this for a living.
Yes,
This
yes,
is their area of expertise, so that you can get connected with the right people to give you the right information, so that you don't spend a whole lot of time spinning your wheels on a portion of the program that you don't actually qualify for.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And so I know we only have a few minutes left, so let me just go ahead and quickly cover the Paycheck protection program loan guarantee. And so we're just going to call that triple P. Okay. So it's the Paycheck Protection Program. And so this is the other component of the SBA loan program that is available for disaster assistance. And so this particular program, again, it's open to sole proprietors, independent contractors, self-employed people, small business owners, again, the co-ops, as well as nonprofits, certain nonprofits. And if you have a business that has less than 500 employees, which most of us would qualify for that, you can definitely apply for that. It is not credit-based. Triple P is not credit-based. Only the EIDL one was credit-based. And so the good thing about this program is you only had to be in business as of February 15th of 2020.
Okay.
That's a win.
Yes,
and so the thing is that you would actually you would still do your application, but you would apply through an SBA approved lender. Okay. So there are, at least as of last week, there were 1,800 lenders across the country that were going to help to disperse these funds. Now, the funds will only be available for triple P through June 30th of 2020. As of this recording date, today is April 7th. Okay. So whatever you can do to be able to get on that train and be able to apply, please do that as soon as possible.
Get it done.
And so, you know, in reference to the program terms, this particular loan max would actually be up to $10 million or 2.5 times your average total monthly payroll cost for the last 12 months. So, you know, again, they have to be able to put some protective measures that are in place. And again, this is helping you to be able to continue to guarantee that people who are working for you or in yourself, you know, would be able to be covered, you know, for that. And so the good thing is that this particular loan, it only has a 1% interest rate. However, the loan repayment period is much smaller. The loan repayment period is actually 2 years instead of 30 years. So it's 2 years, but the thing is that your first loan payment could be deferred up to 6 to 12 months. So you may not have to, say if you end up getting approved as of May 1st, you may not have to make that first loan payment until November 1st. That's a good deal. That's not bad. You know, it just depends on how it goes. And here's the thing, guys, if you end up getting approved for this, up to 100% of the loan can be forgiven if you still have employees that are remaining on payroll, and that if the monies are used, at least 75% of the monies are used towards payroll costs. They could be used towards rent, towards mortgage, and towards utilities as well. And so, you know, I want you to keep in mind, again, some of the things that I already mentioned. You're going to probably need to make sure that you have your 2017, 2018, and 2019 tax returns done. So again, remember, you can always amend them, but I'm just saying have them done because, again, they are going to be looking for that. Again, if you don't have them immediately available, they can go ahead and take a look at your last year-end profit and loss statement. They're also going to want to see a current year-to-date profit and loss statement as well. So don't feel like just because I don't immediately have my tax returns done, I'm out of it. No, you're not. Just try to get them done as quickly as possible. Also, they're going to want to know what's your schedule of liabilities that you may have for your business. So perhaps you may have some fixed debts. Maybe you ended up borrowing to be able to finance some large equipment for your business. Perhaps you ended up borrowing for, you know, your mortgage. Maybe you ended up borrowing for other types of things. As far as I know, I don't believe that they're necessarily asking you for credit card debt regarding your business, but just keep that in mind. The other thing that they're going to ask you to do is to actually provide a sales projection for what you think that you would have made month by month for 2020. So, you know, you just want to, again, as Laquita mentioned, be able to make sure that you are keeping up with this. And listen, what I shared with someone yesterday was everything does not have to be immediately done today. So if you're panicking, don't panic. Take a deep breath. Come on, y'all. Okay. So here's the thing. Maybe you can focus on getting the taxes done one day. And then another day you can focus on making sure that you have these profit and loss statements together. And then another day you can make sure that you're doing your schedule of liabilities. But when you go and you get ready to apply, at least you know coming, you know, out the gate, I do have all of the surrounding documentation. So don't feel like you have to have everything done in one day, but just make sure that you're working towards it every day.
Every day.
And that way that you're not missing out on anything. And here's the thing, if you need help, say something.
That's the
Please
key.
be proactive in it.
That's the key.
Be proactive as much as you can. There may be certain other places that may be willing to work with business owners, or perhaps maybe because the income level may have been low at one particular point in time. Even if it's going back to 2017 or 2018, you may actually qualify for a free filing program. So please don't be disheartened that you may have to come out of pocket. But guess what, if you're able to recoup monies and thousands of dollars in monies, wouldn't you say that the time and the investment is worth it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know for us here in the Killeen area, and I can only speak to us in the Killeen area, and I know we have viewers that are looking at this broadcast from across the country. Go to your local city chamber of commerce and ask the question, because right now that's what they're there for. Though your local city chamber of commerce is there to support local businesses. So whatever your city may or may not have in place, whatever local businesses may have in place to support other small business owners through this time, to understand fully the CARES Act and to make sure that they're properly applying for the right portions of the CARES Act, they probably have those in place. I mean, I can't say that with 100% surety, but it would be silly to not to, because it is for the betterment of the city. So I'm sure that would be a great place to start. I know our City Chamber of Commerce, in conjunction with our Small Business Resource Center here in Killeen, they have that in place for us to call in and ask the question. We schedule a meeting to get on a Zoom to ask the question, to get the help that you need in order to understand and properly apply for what you need to apply for as it pertains to the CARES Act and these two programs specifically, because those are the ones that our business owners with the W-2s really need to be focusing on, especially with them being time sensitive. You don't want to miss out on something simply because you don't think you have the right documentation, which, okay, fine, maybe you don't, but you do have time to get the right documentation in place, and there are resources available to help you get that documentation in place. Do the research in your local community, find out, reach out, and again, reach out to Adina and let her give you some guidance on what to do and how to do it. And if, like she said, if you're in a position for that and can make that financial investment, she can help you get it done. She can help you get it done. So don't let anything stop you from applying for what we qualify for. And I know we're coming close, like 1 minute before our broadcast, and I've got a couple of questions here. And so I don't want our viewers to think that we're not going to address the questions concerning the Facebook Marketplace. What I'll do for the answer to that question, I'll do a separate live to talk about Facebook Marketplace and how to properly utilize Facebook Marketplace. I personally know some people that make their living on Facebook Marketplace, and it's still open, alive, and well, and it's a viable way to begin to generate income right now in this area and during this time. Also, we did have a question about, do you have to repay the stimulus checks that are coming out?
You do not.
Good deal.
You do not.
I know I've seen many different people with many different thoughts on social media about the stimulus check.
The only time that you would have to repay it is only if, again, if your 2019 tax return ends up putting you outside of what the guidelines were in reference to the income standards. So they will recoup your money if you qualified in 2018. They ended up basing your check off of your 2018 tax filing, but your 2019 ended up being so much more than 2018. Then in that case, you would, but otherwise, no, you do not have to repay.
And the SBA guys is the Small Business Administration. That is what the SBA is. Is there SV like Victor, SVA?
B is in boy, A.gov, SBA.gov.
Okay. So that's the Small Business Administration there. No, you don't have to repay the stimulus check as long as you don't exceed in your 2019 what the limits are on what your income can be. So if you don't know if you're going to exceed it, file your 2019 taxes and you will find out if you're going to exceed it. And then you'll know what to do with that check accordingly.
Yes.
So it has been a great, great, great time with you today, Miss Adina. I'm looking forward to Thursday. Again, Miss Adina will be back with us on this Thursday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. And we're going to be lunching and learning and becoming financially sound and understanding how to keep our doors open during this time. We're going to be doing more on understanding the necessity of pivoting, and we're going to be learning quite a few extra things on Thursday. I can't wait. Thursday's going to be a great day.
Y'all don't want to miss it.
You don't want to miss it, Miss Adina. We do have some people that want to know how to contact you.
Sure. Well, let me give you my website. It is www.fortitude, FORTITUDE, F is in Frank, I is in information, N is in Nancy, C is in cat.com. So fortitudefinc.com. And so you can actually reach out to me. You can schedule a phone call with me on my main page. Also, you can contact me through Facebook. I am also a member of Laquita's Create Your Future Self group as well. So you can definitely reach out to me there. And also Fortitude Financial Consulting is on all social media platforms. So definitely just go ahead and send me a direct message. I'd be happy to go ahead and respond to you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you again, Miss Adina. And thank you guys so much for taking your lunch with us today. We do appreciate your love and support. If you found value in this broadcast, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Periscope, YouTube, please like and share. Go out to Miss Adina's all of her social media pages as well. Like and share her information. There's a wealth of knowledge out there, whether it's on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Go out, like and share her information. And if you're on YouTube, please continue to subscribe to both of our YouTube channels. We'll continue as always to provide relevant information to help you scale and grow your business. And that's what we're here for. Again, we thank you so much for your support, and we look forward to seeing you guys this coming Thursday from 12 noon to 1. And we'll be giving you more information on how to keep the doors of your business open, how to scale and grow during this time, because you can do it. You can do it. We're going to maximize every opportunity, and we're going to continue to network together and grow, because we grow better when we grow together. Until next time, I'm Laquita Monley. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.